What's your pitch?
Well, we're at the Twins game versus the Royals in Minneapolis at the Target Field. My name is Mike Hewitt. I work for Children's Hospitals and Clinics of Minnesota. I supervise a team that manages the Unix storage, telephony, and network environment for the hospital. So this week, we have our OpenNMS DevJam. So, we look for these fun things to do to keep us kind of, motivated as we're going through the week, and also kind of as a reward to everybody's hard work this week. And the Twins game is, an especially fun little event because to get off campus and kind of go see some part of the city, and especially with new Target Field here, I think it's a real joy to go see that. And the Twins are not playing so well, but it's a good stadium. It's a great stadium to watch a baseball game.
Yeah, but DevJam is pretty good for because you gather all the people that have the knowledge of working with OpenNMS every day. My name is Dominic. I'm a software engineer. I'm presently a solution architect at Data Valley, a Montreal-based company, and we are developing guest Wi-Fi. When you're side by side and you're explaining what is your issue, then you know that this person might not know exactly your answer, but he will know who he can ask in his team to provide you that information. And that's what is amazing here right now. You come here, like for next year, we have a development to support dynamic IP addressing, okay? And that isn't something OpenNMS doesn't support right now, but we didn't know where to start with. Like where the OpenNMS source code base is huge. So where do you start? Where do you start adding code to do that feature? We didn't know. That's why we're here this week. It's more how can we develop in OpenNMS in a smart way first, so it's stable, it stays a good software, so we don't just hack around and patch something and then get buggy behavior. We wanted something solid, stay solid. So by coming here, now we can ask the OpenNMS developers, like, okay, where do I start? How do I do it? What would be the best way of doing that development? And how could we make sure that by making this development, after that we can provide it back to you and that you will be also happy.
When I landed at Children's, it was just before September 11th. I remember that.
Here I was, right after 9/11, trying to build a business with OpenNMS 0.8.
Taurus Balog is the project maintainer.
Hi, my name is Taurus Balog.
I've been looking at OpenNMS. I think this is a good fit. Let's see if we can make it work. And I spent September, October working on that, and then I contacted OpenNMS to get a contract to do support, because if we're going to continue that at our organization with the visibility it was going to have, that was a must.
But I managed to get 4 commercial support customers, of which I still have 2, Rackspace and Children's Hospitals. Children's Hospitals was the first, and they've renewed something like 12 times now.
To me, he's been the heart and soul of this project for the 12 years of my association with the project. He understands what his customers want, he understands what the community kind of needs, and he keeps that ball moving.
And so in June of 2003, we were able to hire David Hustis, who's the second employee, and with OpenNMS, and then Matt Brzezowski.
Hello, my name is David Hustis. I'm president of the OpenNMS group.
I'm Matt Brzezowski. I work for the OpenNMS group as the CTO.
I can remember Matt and I used to carpool to work every day. It was just the 3 of us, and for several years there, we did
Dave lived in Cary, and I lived in Durham, so I would drive down to Cary, and we would ride in to Pittsburgh together. One day we were just driving, and of course we go across Jordan Lake coming here, and we're driving across the lake, and it's like, we really need to have like a developer get together.
On the way to work one day, we were talking about some of the anxieties we had about trying to have enough capacity to develop the things and get the product moving the way we wanted it to, and how do we get people kind of on the same sheet of music as we were wanting to go, that were contributing to the project at the time. And I said, well, wouldn't it be cool if we could just get everybody together and have like a group programming session for a week or so. Maybe we could call it like a jam session. I said, I remember from high school we used to love going to summer jam concerts because there'd be 4 or 5 bands there.
We just called it DevJam from the beginning. It's like, we should have a DevJam. We all got together, and we weren't very successful, but we all hacked together for a week and talked about stuff, learned about stuff. I tried to teach people about the database strategy we were using at the time, and so that ended up being the beginning of DevJam. So the next year, Mike Hewitt, who came to that first DevJam, his wife worked at the University of Minnesota, where he's from, in Minneapolis, and so he said, hey, why don't we have it here on campus in the summer, because the students are gone and we can get a room. And I had been saying we really need to have it at a hotel or something where we can get a conference room right downstairs from where we're sleeping. And he said, well, why not have it at this dorm, one of the dorms, and we'll have a conference room in the dorm. And then that's what we did. The first year or two we did that, and we actually hired some guest speakers from Spring one year to come and teach us about the Spring technology that we were starting to use and how that is. And then over time that's grown, so we had 5 guys the first time, and now we're sold out. 30 people all come, take their time, pay us to come and sit and hack with us for a week. And mostly I don't even work with everybody. It used to be I would talk and teach about something, but nowadays people are more experienced and they know what they're doing, and they come with a project in mind.
I came with a shopping list of questions I had, and because next year our year begins in August, so next year is fully about monitoring system. So now I know that I can probably meet all my objective for next year. And just by asking those questions, like, how do I do this? How do I do this? How can I make this? Now I have no more unknowns, and I can go forward with my own objectives. So yeah, for sure, the week was really great for that, just for asking questions and get answers. I love OpenNMS.
We spent a lot of time moving the code in the direction that not only addresses network monitoring requirements, but also embraces technology that other developers are interested in, maybe not just for OpenNMS, but working on other projects as well.
I'm Jeff Gelbach. I work for the OpenNMS group. I'm a principal consultant here, which means basically I do whatever needs doing on a given day.
My name is Ben Reed. I have been, depending on how you look at it, with OpenNMS for like 12 years now.
During DevJam, we're not just building software, we're building and strengthening the developer community itself, which means that we are in a better position to continue making the software better. So it's kind of a positive feedback loop, if you will, of the software is great, the community is great, having a great community makes the software greater, having greater software makes the community grow. It also happens to make the user base grow, which is good for the OpenNMS group. That's great. That means some of us get paid. But most importantly, users are out there getting useful work done, and they're not enslaved to a big proprietary software vendor whose goal is to lock them in. Instead, they're part of a thriving user community of people who just want to get their jobs done and go have a beer. And we get to have a beer together at DevJam, which is the greatest.
I mean, it's very social, and that's one of those things that, yeah, we can do it on chat and stuff like, I'm in IRC all the time, and people ask questions, and I try to help with code or with whatever. But, being able to be in the same room and just discuss an issue, especially at DevJam, where all of the people who are the subject matter experts of different parts of OpenNMS are in one room. It's like, oh, this thing isn't working. I'm going to ask the guy who knows all about that, and he's right there. There's a huge advantage to that. It's a combination of that and being able to just do something that you want, and the social parts, and it all kind of comes together.
Help customers, have fun, make money. So our business plan, our business mission, help customers, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help our customers. Everybody is in support. It doesn't matter if you're a programmer or what your role within the company is, your goal is to help the customers. The second big thing that we talk about is have fun. And I am physically excited about DevJam.
Taurus had a great idea. He was thinking, how do I recognize these regular contributors? There was a group of us that had been supporters of OpenNMS in multiple ways. Some of us had gone to conferences and manned the booth for OpenNMS. Some of us had been sitting in the IRC channel just answering questions all day long. Some of us submitted code. And so Taurus said, how do I recognize these people? They're part of my business, but they're not employees. And so he decided to take a page from the masters with the green jackets. And he said, okay, I'll get them green polos with OpenNMS logos on them. And I'll reward those people who've been those constant contributors with those shirts. And the other thing is then he gave us commit access, and I think some of us had commit access before that even. But it was a way to recognize within the community that these people had contributed significantly to the community and to the project overall. Then we've kind of created this, club between us of the Order of the Green Polo people. As you look at DevJam, you look at those who are in the OGP, and we've all been hanging out together for 7, 8, 9 years now. You look at the way the community is really set up. And from the get-go, Taurus has been really good about that even. If you have development done and you want to commit it and it's not going to impact other people's business, go for it. Whether it's privately developed, you hired some contractor, you hired an OpenNMS group. And I think that's the big difference is you have all three of those options at your hand. And you don't have that with anybody else, with a closed source, with a typical business model. And I think that transparency of how much you want to see is up to that end user. So you have access to all the bug databases. You have access to any of the code changes that have occurred. You have the person's name that you could even find their email address and say, Ben, you committed this code. My business is impacted because this is how we did it, and you can actually provide that feedback immediately to that person and say, okay, let's rethink that.
I have two things that I never want to change about OpenNMS. The first one is OpenNMS will never suck. I never want to put out crappy software. Now that doesn't mean parts of OpenNMS might be weak and need to be improved, but overall it's going to be the best product that we can put out. And the second thing is anything we call OpenNMS is going to be available under an open source license. I think that our community, the fact that we have this community giving us feedback on what works and what doesn't, giving us feedback on problems, is dreadfully important to the success of OpenNMS.